What's good, everybody? I appreciate you checking in. All right, we're going to start this weekend out right. All right, obviously, this season has not panned out the way we wanted to. Obviously, it is very disappointing to all of us. We're 2-7 on a 5-game losing streak. We're at the bottom of the AFC West. We have lost to every single one of our AFC West opponents, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers. All of them look like they're progressing, like they're getting better. Obviously, the Chiefs are undefeated, and we look the complete opposite. And so, there has been nothing but disappointment. A lot of questions around AP. We just fired basically our entire offensive staff. We're hitting the reset button. Gardner Minshew isn't working out. We've had a ton of injuries. So there's been nothing but disappointment so far this season. But I'm going to switch it up. We're going to start this weekend off a little bit different. And I'm going to talk about what we can look forward to in this offseason and moving forward. Things that I'm looking for the remainder of the games, things that I'm paying attention to as these games go on, because there are things that we can be excited about. There's things that we can hang our hat on and really look forward to in this offseason, going into the draft and going into the 2025 season. So I'm going to break this down, and this entire video from this point forward is going to be all about positivity, because I think we need a little more positivity in our football life, because obviously our Raiders haven't done it. But again, from this point forward, it's going to be all positive. I'm going to break down some players that I'm really excited for and just kind of what our situation looks like. And I'm going to talk about Tom Telesco and just some of the moves that he's made that I think is really going to help us with moving this team forward in the direction I think we want to go. And I'm going to break the whole thing down. So before we do, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications. Next giveaway is at 4,000 subscribers. If you want to be included in that, hit that subscribe button, but at the same time, hit that notification bell so you know when I drop more content. And so let's get into this. Let's talk about players, right? There's 3 players on the offense, and then there's 4 players on the defense that I'm going to talk about. And the first one I want to bring up is very excited when we brought this player on, and it's Jordan Meredith. Jordan Meredith was a guy when we re-signed him in the offseason, I was extremely excited. And I was happy to see it. And I'm also happy to see his progression. Since he started week 6, I think PFF has him graded as one of the top, I think he's the top 10 offensive guards in the NFL as it stands right now. Since week 6. And so when we re-signed him and when I watched him last year, I was excited because I saw flashes. He got limited snaps, and so it was really hard to judge fully. But what I did see, I saw flashes, and I was excited that we brought him back, because I did think that we needed some help when it comes to the depth on this offensive line. I thought he was going to be a great depth piece. And then when he started playing in the preseason, I saw his preseason play was very impressive. But again, you're going against second, third, fourth stringers, guys that may not even make the team. And so it's really hard to gauge. But I was excited to see what I saw out of the preseason. And now that he's gotten his opportunity, he's taken full advantage of it. And I'm excited. And so, again, when we did re-sign him, I dropped a video on it. And I showed, or I expressed the excitement that I had for that signing, back when we did. And I posted a video on that. You can go back and look at it. It was basically the day that we re-signed him. But again, I'm excited because if you just look at the makeup of the interior of this offensive line, I think we have something that we can be excited about and grow on going into the offseason and into next season. And that's going to bring me to my next guy, JPJ. JPJ, yes, he started out a little rocky because of the concussion, but then as soon as he started, I believe it was week 3, he got a few snaps against the Carolina Panthers. From that day forward, he's looked like an absolute stud, and we started him out at guard. Now we've moved him to center, and I think that's going to be the future of his career is at the center position. We've been looking for a center ever since we let go or parted ways with Rodney Hudson. Since then, obviously, Andre James has not been it and has not established himself as a reliable, solid center. But I think JPJ is the future of our center position. And you got to remember, right, the center is like the quarterback of the offensive line. And this kid is very smart. He's aggressive, and it's been paying off so far. Because what I've seen with the interior of this offensive line, I mean, between the center and the 2 guards, Jordan Meredith, JPJ, and Dylan Parham, I mean, if you see those 3 play together, they look like a very solid unit moving forward. And I break down the film. I do it every Tuesday night with a couple of the guys. Break down the film. And I'm extremely excited to see what the interior of this offense looks like moving forward, because I think that right there is the most solid part of our offense is the interior, and it's nothing but young, developing players. You got Jordan Meredith that's only 26 years old. You got JPJ that's a rookie, and you got Dylan Parham that I think he's only in his third year. And so you got, again, young talent that I'm extremely excited for and what the future holds for the interior of this offensive line. And then let's move to the right side. You got DJ Glaze. I think DJ Glaze has exceeded expectations, not just in the past, because in the pass blocking, he coming out of Maryland, we already knew that he was going to excel in that because he was extremely efficient in his pass blocking coming out of Maryland. I don't think he gave up a sack his senior year, but where we were kind of skeptical and where I was very skeptical was in his ability to run block. And I think that's what I've seen the most improvement out of thus far. And so that was my biggest concern. And he's, I think, exceeded the expectations so far in the run blocking side. And so, again, another rookie that I think we can be excited about. And so if Colton Miller can kind of get back to his better days back in 2021, 2022, if he can get back to the old Colton Miller that played very close to Pro Bowl caliber football, this offensive line could be extremely solid. And we're seeing signs of it. We're seeing flashes of it. And so if we can keep this unit together and they can continue to grow, I'm very excited as to what we can see moving forward. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited about JPJ and DJ Glaze and these guys? Let me know in the comment section down below what you're feeling about this offensive line. Now that we got some young talent really starting to shine on this offensive line, let me know in the comment section down below. And you know what? Let me take a step back. I forgot about Brock Bowers. I mean, look at just how Brock Bowers has developed. Look at just what he's become. He is arguably the best tight end in the National Football League. So again, as much as some of us thought we should have went offensive tackle, we want to trade for a quarterback. I agree. But again, we are staying absolutely positive. All right, let's start this weekend out right. But you got to give credit where credit's due. He nailed that first-round draft pick and just getting a generational talent in Brock Bowers. And so, again, I forgot to mention him. But, man, you cannot give more credit to Tom Telesco for drafting Brock Bowers. I mean, he is going to be exciting. He's going to be an exciting player moving forward and definitely someone we can build this offense around. But that basically, so that's the offensive side. I think that's where we can really hang our hat on going the offseason on the offensive side is the offensive line. And look, one of the things that Antonio Pierce has preached from day one is that he wants to build in the trenches. And I think that's exactly what we're doing is we are building in the trenches, and it looks like a very solid foundation to grow on moving forward. Again, I'm very excited. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this offensive line up to this point. Now, let's jump to the defensive side. And let's talk about a guy that I think was kind of a diamond in the rough, but a guy that I think was a hell of a move by Tom Telesco, right? When Malcolm Kuntz went down right before our preseason, our season opener against the Chargers, he went down before week 1. And now we had Charles Snowden that was elevated from the practice squad. He didn't even make the 53-man roster, and he started week 1 against the Chargers. And then we had Janarius Robinson. He came in and got some playing time, and obviously we've been sprinkling Tyree Wilson out there. But we all know those 3 guys just aren't it. And then all of a sudden, what does Tom Telesco do? He goes out, and Caleb Von Chasen was available in free agency, and he snagged him up. And from that day forward, Caleb Von Chasen has progressively gotten better. He's a former first-round draft pick. You got to give a lot of credit to Rob Leonard, our defensive line coach. He's really getting the best out of him. Now, do I think Caleb Von Chasen is going to be the starter, the opposite of Max Crosby? No, but what I think Caleb Von Chasen can be, if we do re-sign him, because I think he's just on a 1-year contract, but if we do re-sign him, then you can get him for an inexpensive contract, and you have a very solid rotation piece if we do bring Malcolm Kuntz back. And so that's the biggest thing that you want. You want not only guys that can rotate and be effective, but you don't want to fall off too much when your backups do come in. And I think Caleb Von Chasen is showing that he can, one, provide competition in this defensive end room, but he also can provide a solid rotation piece moving forward in the future. So a great pickup by Tom Telesco. And now let's move to a guy that we picked up last year in the 4th round that everybody was very skeptical on. Obviously, when he started last year, he got beat a couple times. He had some rookie mistakes, and everybody was very skeptical on whether or not he was going to, be a solid corner. That's Jacorian Bennett. I think Jacorian Bennett has been a very big surprise to a lot of people. And he has really established himself as our number 1 lockdown corner. You look at what he did against Jamar Chase. I mean, he, for all intents and purposes, really shut down Jamar Chase when we played against the Cincinnati Bengals right before the bye. He did a hell of a job. And look at what Jamar Chase did the very next week against the Ravens. Absolutely torched them for over 250 yards, and I think it was 3 touchdowns. Jacorian Bennett was able to kind of lock up with him majority of the game and do a very good job of kind of keeping him corralled. And so I'm excited. I think for the most part, Jacorian Bennett is showing that he can be potentially a number one, and then have Jack Jones being that number two. So that's another thing that we can kind of hang our hat on and be excited about, is that we might have some two solid defensive backs playing good football, and Jacorian Bennett is really stepping up to the plate. So I'm very excited about that. And then the next guy is Adam Butler. When Christian Wilkins went down, that was a big shot to our interior defensive line and to our defense, right? He was one of our defensive leaders, one of our best defensive players. And when he went down, there was a lot of question marks on just how are we going to continue to get to the quarterback? How are we going to really sustain the stopping the run? And what I've noticed, and PFF had Adam Butler as one of the most double-teamed interior defensive tackles in the league. I think he was ranked either 5 or 6 most double-teamed defensive tackles. And when he's double-teamed, what I love about him, and he's not very big. I don't think he was brought in to be that 4th and 1 goal line, big body, short yardage lineman like John Jenkins. I think that's what John Jenkins was supposed to be. He's not very big, but what I'm seeing is when he's double teamed, he sustains his ground. He holds that line of scrimmage. And that's what I love to see. And I'm telling you, when Christian Wilkins comes back, and if we can re-sign Adam Butler, bring him on, extend his contract, sign him before the season's end, if we can bring him back and see Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler side by side, I think this interior defensive line group can be an absolute terror, because what Adam Butler is showing so far this season is that he can be a very good interior defensive lineman in this league. And again, you got to give a lot of credit to Tom Telesco, because when he came in as the GM, you have to do a really good job of reviewing this roster. You didn't see these guys last year, right? And so you got to get into the film. You got to really start to do your research to know, who do I bring back? And for him to bring back Jordan Meredith, and all of a sudden Jordan Meredith is now really starting to progress into a very solid interior guard. And then you bring back Adam Butler, and now he is starting to develop into a solid interior defensive lineman. You got to give him credit. And then another guy, Isaiah Pola-Mao. You bring back Isaiah Pola-Mao on a 1-year kind of prove-it contract, and I don't think Isaiah Pola-Mao has had a touchdown scored on him this year. And so with Marcus Epps going down, we needed somebody to come in and fulfill that spot. And I think Isaiah Pola-Mao has really taken on that role, and I'm excited about it. So again, you got to give credit where credit is due. That's another signing that Tom Telesco pulled in the offseason that has really helped just this team overall, especially on the respective side of the ball. With Isaiah Pola-Mao being on the defensive side, he has definitely helped out this defense in improving, and that I think we want to go. And now, in addition to that, right, let's talk about Tom Telesco. Again, we're all staying positive. We are staying positive, and we are really looking at, okay, how are we gonna win this season, even though our record is trash, right? How are we going to win this? Where the win's going to come from? It may not be on the scoreboard, it may not be within our record, but you got to be able to hang your hat on and be in and look for some positivity moving into the next season. And I just explained how many times, I detailed out how many times Tom Telesco has made some very solid moves. I mean, you can even start with just the signing of Christian Wilkins. Great signing by Tom Telesco to bring in such a solid interior defensive lineman. It's been a long time. Someone that we know for the future is going to help this defense in the interior, especially playing next to Max Crosby. And so, but in addition to that, when is the last time that we have hit on our first 3 draft picks? All right, between Brock Bowers, JPJ, and DJ Glaze, all 3 have become solid pieces of this offense. But then let's jump back to the Tom Telesco, but he's nailed his first 3 picks. I mean, that's what you want to do between rounds 1 and 3. You want to get day 1 starters or guys that you know are going to have a positive impact on this roster in a big role, right? And that's what he did. No, DJ Glaze, obviously, he has to grow a little bit, but what we're seeing is he might be that solid starting right tackle moving forward. You give him the rest of the season and then the offseason, just grow on what he's already improved on thus far. And I think we're going to have ourselves a solid offensive line. And I'm excited for it. But let's talk about the in-season moves that he just made. I mean, look at what he did with Devontae Adams. All right. The Devontae Adams went over the Jets and he looks even worse than what he was with us. And what did Tom Telesco do? You know, as much as we wanted more like a second, but that wasn't realistic, he got a third and he washed us of that contract. He washed us of that contract. And what does that do? We are set to have the third most salary cap space going into the 2025 season. I believe it's going to be somewhere above 110 million. So you got yourself 110 million with some very young rookies, young, first and second year players to kind of build this roster around. And then next year in the draft, we're more than likely going to get a rookie quarterback, right? So now you have the third most salary cap space. You have a young, talented roster to really start to build around. And now you can go out and get free agents. You can start to build around a young rookie quarterback. That's what we need. You have to build around a young quarterback through the draft and coach up your players. You can sprinkle in a high priced free agent here and there, right? Look at what the Texans did, right? They brought on Stephon Diggs to kind of just complete that receiver room, right? Complete that talent surrounding CJ Stroud. That's what I think Tom Telesco is starting to do. I think that's what he's trying to build. Is he's trying to get a young quarterback and just build around him. And I'm excited for it. And so, guys, at the end of the day, let me know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Again, let's keep it positive. All right. This season has not turned out the way we wanted it to, but let's keep it positive in this one. Let me know what you are most excited about. Is it Brock Bowers? Is it our salary cap space? Is it some of these younger rookies? Let me know what you're most excited about going into the offseason and the 2025 season. So again, guys, I just kind of wanted to flip it, all right? I want to flip the script a little bit. It's been so negative for so long because of just the way the season has turned out, but I want to kind of give something positive because I do think that there's a lot of positive things that are happening with this team. Yes, it hasn't translated into wins. Our record doesn't necessarily reflect it, but if you just look at what is brewing and the moves that are being made, I do think that there are some positive things to kind of hang our hat on going the offseason and the 2025 season. So again, guys, this is just my take. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel. But then again, at the same time, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications. Giveaway 4,000 subscribers. If you want to be included, hit that subscribe button. But again, I appreciate you guys viewing, checking in, sticking with me. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.